Yo, 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 what's up, ladies and gentlemen? So, it's your man Tron Walker here again. Right now I'm testing out this cool new image of nickel balls right here. Looks absolutely amazing, by the way. I think it was the exact same way it was printed on the card, too, but absolutely amazing image. And you know what? Since I'm playing a Tron Walker deck with a bunch of planeswalkers, and they have their Dragon God here, you know what? I figured I'd just go ahead and throw the pictures up. Alright, so in this game, I'm about to play against Infect. And quite honestly, I enjoyed the match. Extremely close. And it's like shutting down an Infect deck is so difficult because they can win the turn so quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this game over for you all. And this is gonna be one of two games that I upload today. And believe it or not, the second game is actually better than the first. Alright, so go ahead and shrink myself down. And let's get this image off of here, even though it looks so amazing, man. Props to the creator of this image, because this card is just beautiful. Alright, so this is game one against Infect. I'm just gonna do it play by play so you all can see exactly what happened at each point in the game. Alright, so let's see who won. I won the roll in the beginning. And of course I'm gonna choose to go first. And like usual, I'm mulligan. And I'm mulligan again, maybe. I decided to keep. The reason why I decided to keep though is I have one piece of Tron, I have an expedition map, I have a Sylvan Scrying, I also have a forest. I pretty much have everything I need to get Tron online, so that's why I decided to keep. So I decided to keep this time. Let's see. Typically though, this for me is a risky hand because if I have to go turn 4 to get Tron online, the possibility of losing just goes up exponentially. Alright, so I play first. Go ahead and put the line out. Expedition map out. Pass turn to my opponent. My opponent plays an Ink Moth Nexus, which for me was like, oh yes, this is a matchup that I always want to play. Because quite honestly, you don't get much faster than dealing 10 poison damage to your opponent and they just lose the game right off the bat. So yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and see what all else he does this turn. Plays the Oceloth, which for me was like, yes, there's a chance I could win because since he's playing the Oceloth, that means if I play Karn Great Creator, I will be able to shut his artifacts off, which means that I'm now able to make him have to swing in for less infect damage each turn. And unless I kill his creatures, the Oceloth will not get countered, so he cannot make his Ink Moth any stronger. So that was my mind frame at this point in time. Okay, next turn. Go ahead and use the Sylvan Scrying, and of course I'm gonna go get another piece of Tron. I already have a mine, so I'm thinking here I definitely got a power plant. Typically I wait to get the tower last because it adds 3 mana, and if I could fetch it last then it enters the battlefield. You know, right off the bat that's at least 3 mana right there that's open for me to use. Okay, let's see. So fetch the power plant. Last turn to my opponent, they played a welding jar and Phyrexia's Core. Okay, let's see what else he does here. Hangerback Walker. Okay, on my turn, I ended up drawing another piece of Tron, but I don't need that. So, play my power plant. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch a tower. Like, the main reason for the tower, though, 3 mana. If it comes in last, that's good, because at least you know you'll be able to have 3 mana right off the bat. So I'll go ahead and fetch a tower. I'm pretty sure I went ahead and played my chromatic star here. Yep. Alright, next turn, opponent plays a forest. Plays the steel overseer, which is not good for me because that means that his Inkmoth will be getting stronger here pretty soon. And he decided not to swing at me, which I thought was a little bit of a wasted opportunity, but with him not knowing what I'm playing, it kind of makes sense. So on this turn, I got an Oath of Nissa, which means that I can play both Oath of Nissa and Doubling Season, if that's what I so choose, or I could turn off his artifacts. And guess what? Turning off his artifacts is way better because Steel Overseer, Hangerback Walker, Oceloth, that's a bad day, especially when you're going against someone that has Infect. And they can just go ahead and put all the counters on this Blinkmoth right here, that's the 1-1 with Flying and Infect. And if they can get it up to 10 and they hit you for 10 poison damage, you lose the game. It doesn't matter how much life you have. So yeah, I chose to play Kind Great Creator here. Opponent. When he tapped right here, I was like, oh no, what kind of counterspell is he gonna play? I was like, what the heck? An Infect deck is playing a counterspell? So yeah, that's initially what I was thinking here, but it turned out that was not the case. So it was a sigh of relief on my end. Oh, go ahead and play Karn. Afterwards, I use my Chromatic Star. This is just to see what I'm gonna draw. I drew a forest, so I was like, I guess that's okay. So for sure, go ahead and play my Oath of Nissa just because I'm trying to see what I get. And since his artifacts are turned off, there's not much else that I absolutely have to do with Karn at this point, just keep him alive. So at this point, let's see, what did I get? I ended up getting a power plant on the tower, which is absolutely not what I need. I can say with confidence, I hope I got the power plant, which I should have. Yep. The reason why the power plant is, with the power plant, it'll put me up to 9 mana, plus the forest, which means that I am now able to play Doubling Season and a Planeswalker to ultimate in 1 turn, which is absolutely what I want, especially against Infect. But this is only after I've already shut their deck off. So here, I use my Karn Great Creator to make his 0 cost artifact into a creature. And its power is 0, toughness is 0, so it dies. Interesting fact though, if they have Forsaken Monument out, all creatures get +2/+2. It actually makes their creature into a 2/2. I tried blowing up someone's land the other day and they had Forsaken Monument out and they were able to swing at me with a 2/2 Urza Tower. So yeah, I learned my lesson about that one the hard way. Let's see, opponent's turn. Okay, he went ahead and made his Inkmoth into a creature. And decided to swing at... I think he swung a Karn. Yeah, he swings a Karn with both, which was, in a way good for me. Because at least I have life. And the infect damage didn't come my way, so that's awesome. Went ahead and paid the last 2 mana there. Oh yeah, I forgot every time he uses mana I have to click, huh? Okay, walking ballista. Okay. I'll play a power plant, and I don't have another planeswalker in hand, so I can't come off and win this turn, which was I would have liked to do it, but if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, right? Or not. I get to draw a card. Let's see what I get. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. And at this point, I was like, sweet, Ugin the Spirit Dragon, this is awesome. Alright, let me play him first, because there's no way I can play both Doubling Season and Ugin the Spirit Dragon at this point. So, went ahead and played my Ugin the Spirit Dragon, upticked him, and I dealt the damage to Walking Ballista. The reason why I deal the damage to Walking Ballista is it's just I didn't want to die to him somehow, adding a bunch of counters to it and just pinging me to death. He also could just target whatever planeswalker, whatever he wants to target. So that's one Walking Ballista dead, and his 1/1 counter goes to the Oceloth. So now the Oceloth has one counter on there, you can put on something. Then I upticked my Karn Great Creator, and I did not choose any permanents because I'm just trying to keep him alive as long as possible. That way my opponent does not get the opportunity to have his deck work how it's supposed to. Because I think the best thing that would have happened here was he went ahead and made his Ink Moss into creatures, tapped his Steel Overseer, powered everything up, swung for 4 infect damage this turn. And yeah, I don't want that happening, so I went ahead and tried to turn that off. Okay, so after that, let's see what happens. To me, this was the turning point right here because he put the counter from the Oceloth on his Ink Moth, and of course, he chooses to kill my Karn Great Creator. The reason why is he just really wants the deck to start working how it's supposed to, and I get that. So, Karn is dead. Went ahead and made the other Inkmoths into creatures by tapping it for mana and using that same mana to make it a creature. And then powered everything up. And here, I was sweating bullets. I was like, I'm gonna die. Because I drew another doubling season, which is absolutely not what I wanted. Here, I just figured, you know what, let me just go ahead and put the doubling season out, because if I end up being able to ultimate Ugin the Spirit Dragon, I'm gonna win, right? And my opponent doesn't care how much life I gain, because I'm gonna keep the poison counters anyways, so he doesn't have to worry about that, right? So upticked, went to 11, and then I got a force, so I was like, let me play my other doubling season. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I died at this point. But my opponent had other things planned for me. Played another welding jar. And he made Igmoth into a creature. And I was like, oh, yep, I'm probably dead. Like, tapped the Steel Overseer, made everything get a 1/1 counter on it. Maybe this was a misplay on his end. Maybe he should have made both, at least another Igmoth into a creature before he did that. But I'm not quite sure exactly why he decided to do that. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I think this might have been a misplay on my opponent's end right here. There he sacrifices his Hangerback Walker to put the counters on the Ozeloth. And Ozeloth got the counters from his Hangerback Walker. Hangerback Walker, whenever it dies, it creates 1/1 flying Ornithopter, 1/1 flying Thopter. Not Ornithopter, just Thopter tokens. And he puts the counters from Ozeloth on a creature at the beginning of his combat. So here's Inkmoth goes all the way up to being a 7/7, which means that he needs only 3 more Infect damage and I am dead after this attack. At this point I thought there's no way he doesn't attack my Ugin the Spirit Dragon because it's at 11 counters. It's about the ultimate. And the ultimate for this is I gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, and put up to 7 permanents into play, which typically would scare the crap out of anybody and they would automatically go to killing it. But this opponent decided to swing at me for 7 damage. I guess that's because he knew I was dead next turn to infect damage no matter what. But honestly, I would have, if I was on his end, I would have definitely swung at Ugin. And the fact that I drew another land here, I was just like, man, I can't catch a break. I need something. But I wasn't worried about it because using Ugin the Spirit Dragon, I got these cards in my hand. I got Nahiri, I got Karn, I got pretty much everything I need to figure something out. The biggest thing is I got Nahiri, so that means that I can ultimate Nahiri and get Emrakul out on the battlefield and swing for 15 damage, and he is forced to sacrifice 6 permanents. So of course, Karn, Ugin, Nahiri, Karn again is chosen. And I choose the Chromatic Star, and pretty much my entire hand goes to the battlefield at this point. Now what happens from here is all my Planeswalkers have double loyalty counters on them now. Actually, doubled twice. So I could basically use Nahiri's ultimate ability this turn and next turn as well, if I really wanted to. But I use Nahiri's ultimate ability and go ahead and search for the one creature that would buy me an extra turn or potentially win the game, which is Emrakul. So I decided to go ahead and put Emrakul out and upticked Ugin the Ineffable, which, you know, will make 1 creature token, but that turns into 4 creature tokens because it's doubled once and then doubled again. And I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and attack first before I do anything else. So because of that, I went ahead and swung with my Emrakul. My opponent has to sacrifice 6 permanents here. And of course, targeting his Thopters here. Not sure why he did all of them. If he had kept even 1 Thopter alive, he would have been able to block my damage. So he decided to sacrifice all of them and put the counters on the Ozeloth again. I think maybe he was thinking because he has flying, he could just get over my head and win the game. He might have forgotten that I had Karn Great Creator on the battlefield. So I have access to things like what I'm about to search for here. So after that, I was thinking, man, how can I win the game? And I was like, I still haven't used Karn's ability yet. Both Karn's abilities yet. So I went ahead and looked for a card. And I was thinking to myself, oh yes, sweet. I can win with Walking Ballista because he only has 3 life. So I go ahead and fetch Walking Ballista. Because what the goal is here is to cast Walking Ballista and just ping him for 3 damage because that wins me the game. But Hey, just look at how much mana I had untapped here. Walking Ballista would have been massive because after pumping all that mana into it, it would have doubled twice. So that would have been a pretty crazy size Walking Ballista. And that was game number 1. So after game number 1, I was feeling pretty confident, honestly. I was thinking to myself, what can I sideboard in that will actually make me do better against my opponent? Now, when I was thinking that, I was like, you know what, I think the only thing I did sideboard in was Sorcerer's Spyglass in place of Liliana of the Veil. The reason why is he's killing creatures anyways. So if he's killing creatures, I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know what, try to turn off whatever he's using at that point in time in the game. Whether that's his Blink Moth, or Ink Moth, or Steel Overseer. I just want to have Sorcerer's Spyglass handy, that way I can play it and turn off that permanent. Alright, I'm gonna record game number 2 here in a second. So I'll see y'all in the next one.